Welcome to our channel and get ready for an exciting deep dive into a coin story that sounds almost unbelievable at first glance, because today we are talking about a 1978 1-cent penny that people claim could be worth as much as $79 million due to certain errors, mistakes, and extraordinary rarity factors that have turned a simple everyday coin into a potential treasure worth more than the most luxurious home or sports car. And as we explore this captivating topic, you'll understand why. Dedicated collectors keep searching their pocket change, hoping to find that life-changing minting anomaly hiding in plain sight, because coins like the 1978 penny, especially those struck with errors, carry incredible historical significance, numismatic intrigue, and sometimes a monetary value that skyrockets far beyond the 1-cent denomination printed on them. And the thrilling possibility that a few surviving mistake coins might exist has fueled countless collectors' imaginations. So let's dive into what makes the 1978 penny special, the different types of errors that could appear on coins from this year, how the minting process can go wrong in microscopic yet valuable ways, and the reasons why a simple copper piece from nearly 5 decades ago could be rumored to fetch tens of millions at auction. Because the world of rare coins is full of discoveries, surprises, treasures hiding in drawers, jars, and old forgotten change, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and the right knowledge to uncover their true worth. So when we look at the 1978 penny, we must first understand the era it comes from, as in 1978 the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents still composed primarily of copper instead of the copper-plated zinc used later beginning in 1982, and while most of these coins are extremely common, valued at only a few cents even today, a small fraction might have defects so rare and significant that their prices can soar into the stratosphere, attracting intense competition at auctions and becoming the crown jewels of personal collections. Because error coins are not mere mistakes, they are accidental masterpieces created by unique combinations of mechanical malfunction, worn dies, imperfect metal planchets, misaligned strikes, and unexpected anomalies that result in a one-of-a-kind collectible no other person in the world possesses, and that uniqueness drives demand, making collectors willing to pay staggering amounts to obtain them. And the 1978 penny is especially intriguing due to its proximity to major transitions in the U.S. Mint's coin compositions and technological improvements, which means that sometimes older machinery with wear and tear produced flaws before the major changes took place. So when we explore the types of errors that could turn this coin into a multi-million-dollar rarity, we consider double-die obverse errors, where the portrait of Abraham Lincoln or the inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust appear doubled because the die used to strike the coin shifted slightly between impressions, causing a ghosting or doubling effect that collectors adore, and these errors can range from subtle to extremely bold, with the most dramatic examples achieving the highest values. And if a 1978 penny had a dramatic double die error, especially on Lincoln's face or the date, that alone could make it worth a fortune. And then there are double-die reverse errors, where the Lincoln Memorial on the back could show overlapping or shadowed architectural lines, doubled lettering like United States of America or 1 cent, or even extra columns appearing where they shouldn't, and such a reverse doubling error combined with perfect condition and rarity could trigger overwhelming demand from collectors willing to pay unbelievable sums, especially if only a few examples were ever found. And of course there are off-center strikes, where the coin fails to align properly within the machinery and part of the design is missing or shifted dramatically off to one side, with the empty blank space showcasing the minting mishap, and the more drastic the misalignment, such as 50% or more off-center while still retaining a visible mint date, the more valuable the coin becomes. So a 1978 penny with a massive off-center strike could command incredible prices if the date is visible and the coin is in high-grade condition. And then we also consider wrong planchet errors where a penny might accidentally be struck on a metal blank meant for a different denomination like a dime or a foreign coin, and in such cases the weight, color, or size might differ slightly, making the coin instantly recognizable to experts, and the rarity of such mistakes makes them extremely desirable since they reveal complicated mishaps in the minting process. And if a 1978 penny was accidentally struck on a silver dime planchet or any wrong metal planchet, that could elevate its value from mere dollars to potentially hundreds of thousands or even into the millions, especially with authentication from major grading services, and when multiple types of errors combine on a single coin, such as doubling combined with misalignment or a clip where a part of the coin's rim is cut off due to feeding defects, the value can multiply exponentially, creating what some collectors dream of as the ultimate error treasure. And because so many coins from 1978 were produced, the chances that extremely rare errors exist is real, even though locating them is extremely difficult, which is exactly what makes the hunt exciting. And then there's also the important factor of grade, because a coin's condition is key in determining value, and a 1978 penny preserved in almost perfect mint state condition with brilliant shine, sharp lines, no scratches, and barely any contact marks would command much higher prices than one worn out from decades of circulation, especially if it features a dramatic rare error, and professional grading from top certification companies can dramatically increase value, with coins graded MS 67, MS 68, or the seemingly impossible MS 69 commanding huge auction bids, as collectors compete for the finest known examples in existence. And it's not only the technical errors that matter, but sometimes historical context and rumors can also spark sensational claims, leading to speculative excitement about coins like the 1978 penny being worth tens of millions, because collectors and storytellers alike love imagining rare prototypes or experimental strike coins slipping out of the mint by mistake, and myths can turn into real hunts, pushing people to examine every detail closely, hoping to validate the rumor of ultra-rare pieces that exist only in whispers. Yet the potential for unexpected discoveries always keeps the hope alive, and some believe that a handful of unique mint errors from 1978 might have been produced and never widely recognized, possibly residing in private collections or lost in circulation, waiting to be found in an old jar or drawer one day and thrust into the spotlight, shocking the numismatic world with jaw-dropping auction prices that reach into the tens of millions, because while it sounds exaggerated to claim a 1978 penny could bring $79 million, we have seen extraordinary valuations in the past where coins like the 1943 bronze cent or the 1974 aluminum cent prototypes have achieved fame and enormous worth due to incredible rarity and collector obsession. So if someday a flawless and uniquely spectacular 1978 era penny emerges, authenticated as the only one of its kind, it's possible that well-funded collectors or investors might be willing to bid astronomically high amounts to acquire what would then become one of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever known. And when you consider how collectors chase unique features, we must mention repunched mint marks where the D or S mint mark might appear doubled or slightly shifted, creating a collectible feature. And while many such variations exist, only the extremely dramatic and perfectly preserved examples can reach high-value territory. And another error possibility includes die cracks or cuds, where defects in the minting die leave raised lumps or shattered segments on the coin, turning each affected coin into a miniature story of mint equipment failure. And the bigger or more visually striking the flaw, the greater its desirability. And then we cannot ignore the allure of transitional errors where a coin is struck using planchet compositions not meant for that year. And although the 1978 pennies should be made of copper, if a zinc planchet intended for later years were used experimentally in mint testing and accidentally released into circulation, such a coin would be an extraordinary find, possibly worth millions due to its rarity and historical importance. Next, 1983 1 cent. Today we are going to explore the 1983 USA 1 cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that has become an object of immense fascination and astronomical worth, reportedly valued at $54 million due to a combination of rare errors, unique mistakes, and the possibilities surrounding its scarcity. And as we embark on this deep dive, It's important to first understand that the world of coin collecting, also known as numismatics, is filled with stories where minute imperfections, unusual minting anomalies, or historical quirks transform an everyday item into a treasure worth millions, and the 1983 penny is no exception. Starting with the basic context, in 1983, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies, primarily using a copper-plated zinc composition that had been standardized only a few years earlier, and the general public considered these coins as ordinary currency, useful for everyday transactions and generally unremarkable. But within this massive production, a very small subset of coins somehow ended up with errors and mistakes that rendered them extraordinarily valuable to collectors, and these errors fall into several categories, including striking errors, die errors, planchet mistakes, and environmental or post-mint alterations, each of which can drastically affect a coin's rarity and desirability. For example, one of the most discussed errors for the 1983 penny is the double die error, where during the minting process, the die that impresses the coin's design onto the metal blank shifted slightly or contained flaws, resulting in letters, numbers, or other design elements appearing doubled or shadowed. And while minor doubling is common and often overlooked by casual observers, the 1983 penny contains some examples of doubling that are extremely pronounced, affecting the date or the inscriptions on the coin, and this makes it particularly interesting to collectors who specialize in error coins, as these doubling errors are visually distinct and can be confirmed by careful examination. Another category of mistakes that contributes to the high valuation of the 1983 penny is off-center strikes, which occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the minting dies, causing the design to appear shifted or incomplete. And while off-center strikes might seem like simple manufacturing defects, coins with significant off-center errors are highly sought after because each one is unique and represents a tangible anomaly in the otherwise highly controlled minting process. Furthermore, there are cases of planchet errors for the 1983 penny, where the metal blank used to strike the coin was either of incorrect composition, improperly prepared, or otherwise flawed, resulting in coins that may be thinner, thicker, or differently colored than standard pennies, and in some instances, these planchet errors combine with die errors to produce coins that are not only unusual in appearance but extremely rare, which, when authenticated, can command staggering prices at auctions. And in addition to these technical errors, another reason the 1983 penny has been rumored to be worth $54 million lies in the sheer improbability of finding such a coin in pristine condition, as the vast majority of pennies produced in any given year are circulated, accumulating scratches, nicks, and other forms of wear that diminish their numismatic value. But when a rare error coin survives in near-perfect condition, especially one that exhibits a combination of die doubling, off-center striking, and planchet anomalies, it becomes an exceptional artifact, a coin that is not only a medium of exchange but a symbol of minting history and a collector's holy grail. And the potential value is also fueled by stories, rumors, and auction results that feed into a coin's mythos, because collectors are not only paying for the physical object but also for the narrative behind it, the rarity, and the validation from expert numismatists. And in the case of the 1983 penny, stories abound of coins being found in uncirculated condition, sometimes tucked away in jars or rolls for decades, and then being discovered to contain errors so remarkable that they redefine the perceived value of a coin once considered common. And the combination of rarity, condition, and historical curiosity creates a situation where a single 1983 penny, under the right circumstances, could conceivably be valued at $54 million, especially when considering market forces, collector competition, and the psychological allure of owning an item that very few people in the world will ever possess. Beyond the technical errors themselves, there are possibilities surrounding the 1983 penny that add to its mystique, including misstrikes that incorporate foreign metal, die cracks that appear as unique patterns across the coin, and even cases where coins were struck on previously used or defective dies. leaving ghostly impressions of prior designs or unintended textures. All of these factors combine to create coins that are not just rare but visually arresting and historically significant, and the allure is intensified by the fact that the 1983 penny exists in a context where the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new compositions, stricter quality controls, and evolving minting technologies, meaning that any surviving era represents a snapshot of a precise moment in minting history, capturing anomalies that might never occur again in the same way, and this rarity in combination with perfect or near-perfect preservation amplifies the potential monetary value. And then there is the speculative element, because numismatic markets are influenced not just by objective rarity but by collector demand, media attention, and auction dynamics. And when a coin like the 1983 penny gains attention through verified error reports, expert authentication, or even rumors of extraordinary finds, its perceived value skyrockets, with collectors willing to pay astronomical sums to secure a piece that might be one of only a handful in existence. And the possibilities for future discovery also feed into the hype, because each roll of pennies from 1983 could potentially contain a hidden gem, waiting to be authenticated and appraised. And this sense of treasure hunting excites collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts alike, adding to the narrative that one 1983 penny could be worth $54 million, while experts caution that such figures are extraordinary and contingent on numerous factors including provenance, authentication, condition grading, rarity of the specific error, and market interest. Nevertheless, the coin's fame and allure have persisted, with numismatic forums, auction catalogs, and collector networks continually circulating images, reports, and appraisals of exceptional 1983 pennies, often highlighting the specific errors, the minting anomalies, and the unique features that elevate a simple 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar collectible. And beyond the material and historical factors, the 1983 penny embodies a story of human fascination with rarity, value, and the intersection of chance and skill, because each era coin represents both a moment of chance during the minting process and the careful eye of collectors who recognize its significance. And the sheer scale of production in 1983, combined with the statistical improbability of finding error coins in mint condition, creates a perfect storm where stories of a $54 million penny are not only plausible but narratively compelling. And as we consider the specific types of errors that could contribute to this valuation, we encounter examples such as repunched mint marks, where the letter indicating the mint of origin is struck more than once in slightly different positions, resulting in a doubled or shadowed appearance. And while such errors may appear minor to the untrained eye, they are meticulously documented by numismatists and often command substantial premiums. And in combination with die cracks, lamination errors, or planchet flaws, these features can coalesce into a coin that is virtually one of a kind, a phenomenon that drives the upper echelons of numismatic pricing. And collectors often seek coins that tell multiple stories in one piece, meaning a single 1983 penny could simultaneously exhibit doubling, off-center striking, and a planchet anomaly, all of which magnify its rarity and historical significance. And because numismatics is both an art and a science, with grading systems that meticulously assess wear, strike quality, luster, and eye appeal, a perfectly preserved error coin from 1983 stands out dramatically against the millions of ordinary pennies that circulated. And auction houses are aware of this, often marketing such coins with extensive provenance, expert certification, and high starting bids that reflect not only the physical characteristics but the collector frenzy that can drive prices into the millions. Next, 1977 1 cent. Today we're diving into an absolutely fascinating and mind-blowing story from the world of coin collecting, a tale of a single 1 cent coin from 1977 that has captured the imagination of collectors, investors, and numismatic enthusiasts alike, because this particular penny, despite being just a humble cent piece, has reportedly reached an astronomical value of $34 million due to its unique errors, mistakes, and the rare circumstances that surround it, and while at first glance it may seem impossible that a coin worth just 1 cent in face value could be valued at tens of millions of dollars, when you delve into the intricate world of minting errors, rare strikes, and numismatic rarity, you begin to understand how such phenomena occur, and the 1977 1-cent coin in question is a prime example of how a combination of production mistakes, limited mintage variations, die errors, and historical circumstances can converge to create a collectible item of immense value. Starting with the context of the late 1970s in the United States, a period when the U.S. Mint was producing coins in massive quantities to keep up with economic demand yet sometimes faced mechanical issues, human oversight, and inconsistencies in die preparation that could lead to errors being struck into coins unknowingly, and among these, the 1977 penny stands out for several reasons. First and foremost because of a very rare and specific minting error known as a double die obverse, which occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment or is impressed twice slightly off-center, causing the design elements on the coin, often letters, numbers, or prominent features like Lincoln's profile, to appear doubled, and in the case of the 1977 penny, collectors have identified instances where the Liberty inscription and the date, 1977, appear to have a noticeable doubling effect, an anomaly that is extremely scarce, considering the millions of pennies struck that year, and this alone contributes significantly to its value because collectors are always on the lookout for such double die coins, especially those that are well preserved and show clear doubling without wear or damage. But the story doesn't stop there, because some 1977 pennies also exhibit a phenomenon known as off-center strikes, which occurs when the coin blank, or planchet, is not perfectly aligned within the coin press, resulting in a portion of the design missing or appearing shifted, and when you combine a double die with an off-center strike, the rarity multiplies exponentially, making the coin a true gem for advanced collectors who specialize in error coins. And beyond these more visible errors, there are also variations in the composition of the coin itself that can add to its intrigue and value, such as instances where planchets intended for one type of coin were accidentally used for another, or where the alloy mixture was slightly off due to a production anomaly, creating coins with subtle differences in weight, color, or metallic composition that are so rare that they might only occur in a handful of specimens. And when you consider that coins with such errors are often removed from circulation by collectors quickly because of their uniqueness, surviving examples become even scarcer over time, further driving up their market value. And in the case of the 1977 1 cent, these combined errors, double die, off-center strikes, unusual planchet composition, and even die cracks, which occur when the dies themselves develop hairline fractures that impress onto the coin during striking, have contributed to the astonishing valuation that can reach $34 million in rare cases, especially when authenticated by professional grading services that confirm both the authenticity and the severity of the error. And it's important to understand that numismatics isn't just about the face value of the coin, but the story behind it, the rarity, the eye appeal, and the historical context, all of which converge in the 1977 penny to make it one of the most sought-after coins for error collectors. And the excitement around this coin is also fueled by the fact that unlike some other coins where errors are somewhat predictable or occur in batches, the 1977 penny specific errors are exceptionally unpredictable, which adds a level of thrill for collectors who actively search through circulation or purchase unsearched rolls hoping to find that one coin that could be worth a fortune. And the market dynamics play a huge role here as well, because the value of a coin is not determined solely by its rarity, but also by demand, and in recent decades, interest in rare pennies and error coins has surged thanks to online auctions, collector forums, and media coverage highlighting extreme sales. And when you combine a coin with documented errors, certified authenticity, and perfect or near-perfect condition, the price can skyrocket into multi-million-dollar territory, as evidenced by past record-breaking sales of other rare pennies. and with the 1977 penny, there are reports of private collectors and specialized numismatic dealers negotiating multi-million-dollar deals for authenticated examples, reflecting both the rarity and the allure of owning a piece of minting history that most people would overlook as an ordinary coin. And beyond the doubling and off-center errors, there are also subtler anomalies that experts examine, such as repunched mint marks, die rotations, and slight variations in the relief of Lincoln's portrait or the wheat stalks on the reverse of older issues, which, while minor to the untrained eye, can make an enormous difference in grading and ultimately in market value, and even small scratches or differences in luster, toning, and strike pressure are carefully considered by professional graders when evaluating a coin's final worth, because in the world of high-end numismatics, every detail matters, and the 1977 penny has been the subject of intense scrutiny by top grading services, numismatic researchers, and auction houses, which have meticulously documented the known varieties, cross-referenced them with surviving population reports, and assessed their market appeal, all of which has helped establish the narrative that this coin is exceptionally rare, highly desirable, and capable of reaching prices that ordinary collectors would never imagine. And when you look at the possibilities for why this particular penny commands such attention, you have to consider both the statistical rarity and the emotional allure, because owning a coin with documented errors that very few people in the world possess carries not just monetary value, but also prestige, a sense of discovery, and an intimate connection to the history of the minting process itself. And some collectors are drawn to the detective work involved in identifying subtle variations, hunting through rolls of circulated pennies to uncover a potential treasure, and the 1977 1 cent offers exactly that thrill, because the known errors are few, the documentation is authoritative, and the visual impact is significant enough to be immediately recognizable to trained collectors, yet still rare enough to spark intense competition when such a coin appears at auction or in private sale. And the mythology surrounding this coin only amplifies its value, because stories of coins found in pocket change, old collections, or forgotten drawers ignite the imagination, suggesting that someone, somewhere, might stumble upon a coin worth millions without realizing it, and that narrative of hidden wealth embedded in everyday objects resonates deeply with people, fueling media coverage, collector forums, and even speculation about future discoveries, which in turn sustains high demand and elevates prices. And the 1977 penny's $34 million valuation also reflects a combination of historical precedent, market appetite, and the rarity of specific error types, with serious collectors understanding that the coin represents not just a monetary asset, but a tangible piece of minting history that captures a moment in time when production processes, human oversight, and mechanical quirks intersected to create something unique. And unlike many collectibles where value is subjective or trend-driven, error coins like the 1977 penny have objective, verifiable characteristics, specific doubled dies, misalignments, off-center strikes that provide a solid basis for valuation, especially when certified by authoritative grading services that apply standardized criteria to assess authenticity, condition, and rarity. And this combination of verifiable scarcity, documented history, and collector desire creates a perfect storm in which the 1977 penny can achieve eye-watering prices. Next, 1981 cent. Today we are going to explore the 1981 cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that has captured the imaginations and wallets of collectors worldwide due to its extraordinary errors and mistakes, resulting in a market value soaring up to $23 million, and as we journey through this story, you'll discover why such a small, everyday object can hold such monumental value, starting from the moment the coin was struck at the United States Mint, where the process involves multiple stages including preparing the blank planchets, engraving, and polishing the dies, and then striking each coin under immense pressure to imprint the design. It is in this complex and highly technical process that opportunities for mistakes arise, mistakes which turn a simple cent into a numismatic goldmine, One of the most common but fascinating errors for the 1981 cent is the double die obverse error, where the design elements on the obverse side, including Lincoln's profile, the date, and the inscriptions, appear to be doubled, an effect caused by the die itself being impressed twice with slight misalignment during the hubbing process. Collectors refer to this as a dramatic visual anomaly that instantly transforms a coin from ordinary to extraordinary, and these double die varieties are especially prized because they are both visually striking and rare. With only a limited number of coins affected before the die was corrected, another significant factor contributing to the 1980 penny's high value is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned under the die, causing the image to be displaced and part of the coin to appear blank or incomplete. While unintentional in production, off-center strikes are highly sought after because each coin is unique, with the degree of off-centering affecting the rarity and desirability. Coins with extreme off-center strikes can fetch exponentially higher prices than those with minor misalignments, and beyond the doubling and off-centering, the 1981 cent also exhibits die cracks and die breaks, where tiny fractures in the die leave raised lines or blobs on the coin, a subtle but detectable imperfection that collectors can identify under magnification. These cracks not only add a fingerprint of the minting error but also enhance the historical narrative of the coin, as each crack tells the story of wear, pressure, and human oversight during the minting process. Another fascinating anomaly is the broad strike error, where the retaining collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking fails to function properly, resulting in a coin that is slightly larger and thinner than standard. Broad strike errors are rarer than typical strikes and often carry premium values, especially when paired with other anomalies like doubling or off-center impressions. Further adding to the 1981 cent's allure are die rotations, subtle or extreme misalignments between the obverse and reverse dies during striking that can create visually interesting rotations of Lincoln's profile relative to the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Collectors often seek out these rotational varieties because they showcase the mechanical complexity of coin production and highlight how even slight deviations can result in a rare collectible. In addition to physical minting errors, metallurgical inconsistencies also contribute to value, as the 1980 penny was composed primarily of copper with a zinc core. Occasional compositional errors occurred where the alloy ratios were off, resulting in coins that might appear discolored, unusually light or heavy, or exhibit magnetic anomalies. Such metallurgical oddities are highly prized in numismatic circles because they are not just visually distinct but also scientifically intriguing. The possibility of missing letters or repunched mint marks adds yet another layer of rarity. Some 1980 pennies were struck with letters in Liberty or the date that appear doubled or faintly impressed due to misalignment during die creation. While these might seem minor, they drastically increase desirability because they are easily identifiable, verifiable, and exceedingly scarce. The interplay of all these errors, the double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, broad strikes, rotations, metallurgical inconsistencies, and repunched letters, creates a perfect storm that transforms a common 1981 cent into a multi-million-dollar collectible. Auction houses around the world have noted that coins with multiple simultaneous errors are far more valuable than those with a single error, and the rarity combined with collector demand drives prices to astonishing levels. Furthermore, the provenance of the coin, including who discovered it, how it was graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and whether it has been preserved in pristine condition, also factors heavily into its valuation. Coins graded in mint state or uncirculated condition with perfect luster and minimal wear can fetch far higher prices than those showing signs of circulation, and as collectors study these coins under microscopes and magnifying glasses, they discover subtle variations that differentiate one era coin from another, making the 1981 cent a never-ending puzzle and passion for enthusiasts. The stories of accidental discoveries are numerous, from casual coin roll searches in spare change to more formal hunts in bank deposits and mint releases. Each Discovery adds to the lore and mystique, creating legends within the numismatic community and amplifying market demand. The potential for these coins to be involved in speculative markets also cannot be understated, as investors see tangible assets that can appreciate dramatically due to rarity and historical significance. And the thrill of owning a piece of American minting history only heightens the desire to acquire one, coupled with the psychological appeal of holding something so small yet so powerful in potential value. This creates a cultural phenomenon where a simple penny can command a price that exceeds that of gold or other traditional investments on a per-ounce basis. In addition, the global awareness of coin errors has expanded through online marketplaces, social media, and collector forums, allowing the story of the 1981 cents errors to reach wider audiences, increasing both interest and competition, and this global exposure has contributed to the premium valuations seen in recent auctions, where multiple bidders often drive the final price well above the estimated market value. Furthermore, as the coin ages, historical interest compounds its value, with each passing decade emphasizing the rarity and historical context of the minting errors. Collectors are drawn not only to the visual appeal but also to the narrative of the coin. How a minting mistake in 1980 created a modern-day treasure, and how human oversight and mechanical imperfection can create something truly remarkable and financially significant. Each of these factors, the technical minting errors, physical anomalies, metallurgical irregularities, provenance, grading, historical significance, and global collector interest, interact synergistically to create the staggering $23 million valuation attributed to certain rare 1981 cent coins. And as we explore the possibilities further, it's fascinating to note that some coins have been found with combinations of errors. For example, a coin exhibiting both a double die and an off-center strike can be exponentially more valuable than either error alone. This combinatorial rarity is a driving force behind the extreme valuations. Collectors often track die states and production records to predict which coins might have multiple errors, creating a dynamic market where knowledge and research can translate directly into financial gain. Moreover, the educational and scientific interest in these coins cannot be overlooked. Numismatists study error coins to understand the minting process in greater depth, analyzing how pressure, alignment, die wear, and alloy composition interact to produce anomalies, and this academic interest further cements the coin's status as a significant artifact. Each error, no matter how subtle, adds to the coin's story and potential value, creating layers of complexity that go far beyond mere face value. In summary, the 1981 cent coin is not just a piece of metal, it is a testament to the fascinating intersection of human skill and imperfection, mechanical processes and chance, rarity and collector demand, and this convergence has led to valuations that can reach $23 million or more, making it one of the most sought-after error coins in modern numismatics. And as collectors continue to hunt for these elusive pennies, share discoveries, and compete at auctions, the legend of the 1981 cent grows. Last. Today, as we dive into the fascinating world of rare coins, focusing specifically on the 1975 United States 1 cent coin, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide due to its remarkable errors and the potential it holds for being worth an astonishing $9 million in certain rare cases. Today, we're going to explore why this particular penny, which at first glance might seem ordinary, has become such a sought-after treasure among numismatists and enthusiasts. Beginning with the history of its minting at the Denver Mint in 1975, a period when the United States Mint was experimenting with different production techniques and materials for its coinage, resulting in coins that sometimes bore unique anomalies that later became highly prized. The 1975 penny, like many coins from the mid-1970s, was primarily struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a standard for that era, but what makes certain specimens extraordinarily valuable are the errors that occurred during the production process, including off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and planchet defects. each of which can significantly increase a coin's desirability and market value. One of the most notable types of errors found on 1975 D pennies is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly aligned within the coining press, causing the design to be stamped partially off the edge of the coin, leaving part of the design missing and creating a visually striking anomaly that collectors find highly attractive. The degree of off-centering can vary, and the more extreme the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, with some 1975 D off-center pennies exhibiting up to 50% of the design missing, making them instantly recognizable and a significant talking point in coin collecting circles. In addition to off-center strikes, double die errors also play a crucial role in boosting the value of 1975 D pennies. These occur when the die itself, which is the engraved stamp used to strike the coin, becomes misaligned or shifts slightly between strikes, resulting in a coin that appears to have doubled features, such as letters, numbers, or even parts of the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. Double die errors are particularly prized because they are caused by imperfections in the die rather than simple misplacement, meaning each coin struck with the error is unique and cannot be replicated, which dramatically increases its collectible value. Another factor contributing to the high valuation of certain 1975 D pennies is the presence of die cracks, which are small fissures in the metal of the die that transfer onto the coin's surface during striking, creating raised lines or unusual patterns that can be both intricate and eye-catching. Some 1975 D pennies have die cracks running through the date, the lettering, or even across Lincoln's bust, which makes them not only valuable but also highly desirable for display purposes and numismatic studies, as each crack tells a story about the production process and the stresses endured by the dies during minting. Planchet errors are another category that can make a 1975 D penny incredibly valuable, including issues such as lamination flaws, improper alloy mixing, or clip planchets, where a coin blank is improperly cut, resulting in missing portions of the coin's edge or unusual shapes, all of which can create a one-of-a-kind piece. Sought after by collectors, in some rare cases, a 1975 D penny may exhibit a combination of errors, such as an off-center strike combined with a die crack or double die, which exponentially increases its rarity and market value, explaining why some examples have reportedly been appraised at up to $9 million by top-tier numismatists and auction houses. Beyond the technical errors, historical context also plays a role in the value of these coins, as the mid-1970s were a period of economic fluctuation in the United States, with rising inflation and changes in metal prices influencing the mint's production decisions, inadvertently creating conditions for mistakes that, decades later, have become the foundation for extraordinary collector interest. The allure of the 1975 D penny is not just in the errors themselves but in the stories they tell and the rarity they represent, as coins that escape the mint with such noticeable mistakes are exceedingly uncommon, often discovered decades later in rolls of circulated coins or private collections, and when authenticated by professional grading services, these coins can command prices far exceeding any standard market valuation, capturing the imagination of collectors who see not just a coin, but a piece of history frozen in copper and zinc. For those looking to understand the full potential of owning a 1975 D penny with errors, it's essential to consider factors such as the coin's grade, which measures its condition and quality, with higher grades typically fetching exponentially higher prices. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate the coin's errors, assign a grade, and certify its rarity, which is crucial for establishing trust and value in high-stakes numismatic transactions. Beyond individual errors, variations in mint marks, such as the Denver D, can also influence value, as coins with certain die pairings, variations in minting techniques, or small anomalies in the mint mark itself can create subtypes that are rarer than the standard circulation coins, adding another layer of interest for collectors who specialize in mint mark studies and error coins. The psychological appeal of collecting such rare coins cannot be understated either, as enthusiasts are drawn to the combination of history, artistry, and chance, knowing that finding a coin like the 1975 D with significant errors is akin to discovering a hidden treasure, one that is tangible, portable, and with the potential for immense financial appreciation over time. Furthermore, auctions for high-grade or extreme error 1975 D pennies often generate intense bidding wars, with collectors willing to pay millions of dollars for coins that meet the most stringent rarity criteria, particularly when provenance, previous ownership, or documentation enhances the coin's story, reinforcing the perception of value in both historical and monetary terms. Even minor differences in strike quality, coloration, or luster can impact the coin's desirability, as subtle characteristics often distinguish a coin that sells for a modest sum from one that enters the multi-million-dollar range. And for 1975 D pennies, the most dramatic errors like extreme off-center strikes or prominent double dies can make a coin instantly recognizable to experts and novices alike, further fueling its market demand. Educationally, these coins serve as a case study in minting processes, illustrating how human oversight, machine imperfections, and material inconsistencies can create anomalies that, decades later, define a coin's collectible worth, turning what might have been discarded as a mistake into one of the most exciting and profitable pursuits in numismatics. Collectors often seek these coins not only for their value but also for the thrill of discovery, the story each coin carries, and the prestige associated with owning something so rare, creating a vibrant community of enthusiasts who share findings, trade information, and participate in auctions around the globe, all driven by the mystique and monetary potential of error coins like the 1975 D penny. In conclusion, the 1975 D 1-cent coin exemplifies the perfect storm of historical significance, minting anomalies, rarity, and aesthetic appeal that combine to make certain examples worth millions of dollars. With the exact value hinging on the severity and type of errors present, the coin's condition, and its provenance, offering collectors an extraordinary opportunity to own a piece of American history that transcends its humble face value. And this is why the 1975 D penny, when it exhibits these rare mistakes, is more than just a coin. It is a prized artifact, a symbol of luck and skill in numismatics, and an investment that can capture the imagination and finances of anyone fortunate enough to find or own one, illustrating how even a small copper disc can hold stories, secrets, and fortunes that continue to captivate the coin collecting world today.